Neediness within a relationship, I think, is the most unattractive quality in both a man or a woman. There's no quicker way to push your partner away from you. Welcome to my Broken to Brave podcast. I'm Donna Barnes, and today I want to talk about not being needy, because I've frequently said over the years, like, neediness is just something that I find highly a turnoff, actually. And how do you know if you're needy? Look, I've largely said that most relationships only last 3 to 6 months, and it's largely because of neediness. When you first meet somebody, if you're crazy about them, right? Whether you're a woman or a man, right? But look, because I'm a woman, I've had this happen, right? Like, I had a guy that I met when I had just moved back to New York from Los Angeles. I really wasn't ready for a relationship yet. I had made the mistake of, when I went to Los Angeles, started dating somebody immediately, and then got pulled into their world. All of their friends were my friends. I'd met them through the only people that I knew in Los Angeles, right? So then when I wanted to not be in that relationship anymore, I kept getting pulled back into it because I didn't have any life outside of that relationship because I was new to Los Angeles, right? So when I came back to New York 6 years later, I was hyper aware that I'd been away for a while, and I'd made a commitment to myself that I didn't want to be in a relationship until I established my life there again. And I was out in the Hamptons, and I met this nice guy, fairly handsome. We had a nice time together. So he asked me to dinner. And I said to him, look, I would love to have dinner with you, but I got to tell you, I'm not really looking for a relationship right now. And he was like, yeah, okay. Right. But he did not hear that. And he's the guy that I've frequently talked about that was inviting me to do really fun things. I mean, he took me to the VH1 Awards, which was really fun, right? Like, but he dropped me off one night and he said, I miss you already. And I said, you don't give me time to miss you, right? Like, and that's my point about neediness. And the really sad thing is like, his friends later said to me, oh, he's such a nice guy, you didn't really give him a chance. And I was like, he didn't listen to me. He was coming on way too strong when I had told him I really wasn't open to that, right? So neediness is such a turnoff. And neediness is when you're not really paying attention to what the object of your desire wants and needs, right? If you want to talk on the phone constantly, or you text constantly, and if they don't respond right away, you're upset that they didn't respond right away, and now you're looking for another, reason of what they're doing or where they're at, or stalking. I mean, that particular guy was actually stalking me, right? So, I mean, that's the epitome of neediness. If you're that jealous that you have to know what your person is doing when you're not with them, like, push the pause button. That's so needy. You can't control what someone else does. And if you're insecure that they're doing something that, you wouldn't want them to do, you need to evaluate whether you want to be in that relationship or not, right? Because especially in the beginning of a relationship, you don't get, like, so many people, as soon as they meet somebody that they're crazy about, assume that now we're in a relationship, right? And that, there's all sorts of expectations that are too soon to have. And then it throws off the balance of the relationship, right? So you don't want to be monopolizing all their time on the phone, right? Like, if you want to be, like, constantly talking to that person or constantly texting them, I mean, look, like, I coach people. If I'm on the phone with a client, I'm not responding to my texts or anything like that, right? I'll get back to somebody when I'm done. And I think that's true for a lot of people, especially at work. Like, I have clients come to me for coaching because they're all upset that they sent their guy a text and they haven't heard from him, and it's been all day, right? And my first response is always, well, what does he do for a living, right? So in not being needy, the key things to make sure that you don't do is don't put all of your focus on the object of your affection, right? Because if you now, like, stop communicating with your friends and stop doing things that you need to do because you want to spend all of your time with your new person, that's neediness. Especially now if they're not available to do something and now you want to give them a guilt trip about that, or you start keeping score of, like, well, I didn't see you all this week, so, like, I really want to see you this week, right? Like, I mean, it's like all that kind of stuff, it falls on annoyed ears, right? And unfortunately, I've coached an awful lot of people who are needy that I've tried to dissuade them from that, because I'll tell you, as a single girl in Manhattan for decades, I encountered so many needy men, right? So It's the quickest way to turn somebody off. And look, women are needy too. I get that. And unfortunately, most people become needy when they feel like the other person isn't that into them or isn't responding to them. It causes them to be needy and to want to be around them, right? But that's that's the biggest mistake, right? If they're pulling back, you need to give them that space and allow them to pull back, right? Because I mean, look, if you have a guy or girl that is needy, try to openly communicate with them and say, hey, look, I'm not dating other people. I just really need some time to myself to unwind or to think or to just process something. And I think everybody needs time to themselves. And when you first start dating somebody, you should not be spending every day together. It's really not helpful. And it causes you to be needy because you're neglecting other areas of your life if you're constantly with your new person. I think it's too much. Less is more in the beginning. Following the lead of the person that you're attracted to, right? If you feel like you're driving all the communication and that you're communicating a lot and they're not really responding, completely stop and see if they reach out to you. Because if they're into you and they haven't heard from you, they'll reach out to you. But if you're constantly reaching out to them, you don't know if they're interested in reaching out to you or not, right? So and look, I know men like to chase, right? Like I fully get the chase of chasing a girl. But remember, when you chase something, it runs, right? And as a woman, it's great to be pursued by a man that I'm into, right? If I'm very attracted to him, I'm more than thrilled that he's pursuing me. But if I'm not that attracted to him, I'm annoyed that he's pursuing me, right? And I know it's that fine line. I mean, look, like everybody says that, right? Like the guy you're crazy about can do the exact same thing that the guy that you're not that crazy about. And it annoys you from this guy, but like you love it from this guy, right? And I just think that that's true, which is why you need to gauge the interests of the person that you're with. And being needy is not going to help them be more interested in you, right? And I'm not a fan of asking, how do you feel about me? Right? That is a question that you never, ever, ever need to ask. Because honestly, if you're asking that question, you don't want the answer. Because if you don't know that they care about you, they probably don't, right? Unless they're just really not good at showing their feelings, right? Because I think that happens, right? But if someone keeps showing up and keeps wanting to be with you, then they enjoy being with you. But trying to force somebody to want to be with you by being needy and controlling of their time and wanting to occupy all their time and be with them all the time and dropping everything in your life is being needy and smothering, right? Like I always liken it to the cat in the Pepe Le Pew cartoons, right? There was always some black cat that scooted under the fence and had a white stripe, and Pepe Le Pew thought it was a skunk, right? And the cat's just like, oh my God, I can't get away fast enough, right? Like I've been in relationships with guys like that, right? So, and girls do it too. It's not just guys. Be empowered. Have your own life. Don't abandon your friends. Don't abandon things that you like to do. Keep your own life and try to really gauge the interest of the person that you're interested in. Because if he or she is kind of pulling back a little bit, let them. Give them that space, because your natural instinct is going to be to go towards them. And that's really not helpful. So like the video if I helped you, or leave me your comments or your questions. And thanks for watching. I look forward to seeing you in my next episode.